Okay, so this is still the continuation of our Module 8, Accounting for Factory Overhead. So we are now in the second topic under this module. So this is the allocation of service department cost. Okay, so basically not all discrete units within the business organization are focused only on production of end product. So we also have, or the entity should also consider other services provided by the different departments within the organization, just like janitorial services, cafeterias, health clinics, and the like. They are support, okay, in in the production units. Service department cost should be allocated to operating units, okay, and this should have a basis for allocation. This allocation occurs to support measurement of full production cost. This is basically contemplated in GAAP to make managers of operating units aware of the complete cost of their activities, not only in production but also including those supporting departments or support departments, okay, such as we have mentioned earlier, okay, to complete their activities, and also to discourage waste and inefficiency by overutilization of this service department. So that's why in our discussion for factory overhead, service department will come in because basically they are a support group within the organization, and although they are also part of the organization, they are contributing, and costs are also coming from these departments, and they are considered as indirect cost, okay, in the production. So that's why they are included in the discussion for this module as well. And it is also emphasized that although they are not part of the main production process, but still they are part of the support in the production activities, okay, or indirect activities and the indirect cost respectively. So basically, for allocating the service department cost in the production, we have two methods, okay, to be used. So the first one is direct method. The other one is the step method. So we will discuss first the direct method, okay, of allocating the service cost, okay, of these departments. So direct method, or indirect method, I mean, we transfer the cost of the service department directly to the productive department that rely on them. So the allocation is based on some logical benchmark. So we have here an example for janitorial services. So this may be allocated to productive departments based on square footage used by the productive departments, because in janitorial services they are covering the area that is being used. That's why we can use the square footage, or the amount of space that the productive departments are consuming or utilizing. Okay, for cafeteria, costs may be allocated based on the number of employees within each production, because in this case they are consuming food or goods. Okay, so basically the entity can use the number of employees as a basis for allocation. So the basis selected should bear a logical relationship to consumption of services and their respective costs. So we have here an illustration or example also. Assume that in Benjamin Printing, they have two production departments. So they have printing and binding. Okay, so basically these are two different departments that are directly involved in production. Okay, so they are therefore classified under the production departments. So printing is highly automated, while binding, they rely on a far more labor-intensive process. So these departments are supported also by the maintenance and cafeteria service units. For the maintenance activities, they are driven by the amount of machinery that requires the service and repair. While in cafeteria services, they are directly related to the size of the labor pool or the number of employees. So as shown, cost later on, the cost incurred by the maintenance department will be allocated based on the number of machines used. Okay, because this is chosen because it has a logical relationship with the maintenance activity, which is for the amount of machinery required or requiring service and repairs. That's why this is the allocation basis also, that or the allocation basis that is chosen, number of machines used by each productive department. While on the other hand, for the cafeteria cost, so the allocation will be based on the number of employees. So we have here the table. Okay, in allocating the service department cost using the direct method. Okay, for service departments, so we have here cafeteria and maintenance. So the departmental cost for cafeteria is 600,000, and then for maintenance is 900,000. So these two will be used, or this will be allocated to our productive departments for printing and binding departments respectively. So how do we allocate 600,000 of department cost from cafeteria and 900,000 cost of maintenance? Okay, so under the direct method, okay, so we have here of course the basis is for the cafeteria, we use the number of employees. So in printing department, we have 5 employees and 15 in binding, okay, department. And then for maintenance department, we will use the number of machines. Okay, so for printing, they have 30 machines, and in binding, they have 10 machines. So how do we allocate this service cost to the production department? So we have here the computation. For the cafeteria to printing, okay, cafeteria to printing, so cafeteria cost times the ratio of printing employees to the total productive department employees. Meaning, from here, the number of employees from printing is 5, binding is 15. So we add this, meaning the total number of employees for productive departments is 20. So the ratio of printing department is 5/20. Okay, and we will multiply that to the cost of cafeteria of 600,000. So that is the allocation or the allocated amount for the printing department. And for binding department, on the other hand, this is 15/20 times 600,000. So that's 450,000. Okay, that's how we allocate the cost of cafeteria to printing and binding department. Okay, for maintenance department, so how do we allocate 900,000? So this is how it is done. So maintenance cost times the ratio of printing machines to the total productive department machines. So basically, in printing department, they have 30 machines, and in binding, they have 10 machines. So all in all, it's 40 machines in total. So to allocate the maintenance cost of 900,000 for printing department, that's 30 machines divided by the total of 40 machines times 900,000. So that's 675,000. For binding department, so it's 10 machines divided by 40 total machines times 900,000. So that's 225,000. So this is how we allocate the service department cost to the productive departments respectively using the direct method. Okay? So the other one is our step method. So some departments may also provide support to other service departments. For instance, using still our example earlier, for Benjamin's maintenance employees, they likely to eat in a cafeteria. So this issue is mitigated by a step method of allocation, because in a service department's cost, it's first allocated to other units, including other service departments as well. So meaning to say, in a cafeteria, for example, in maintenance, there are also employees in the maintenance department who are eating in the cafeteria, and not only those employees under the productive departments. So therefore, it is logical that maintenance department, although they are part of the service department as well, to be allocated also the cost from the cafeteria, because again, the employees from maintenance department are eating also in the cafeteria. So then the resulting cost of the other service departments are allocated to production. So this step allocation is demonstrated for Benjamin using or assuming that cafeteria cost benefit maintenance, printing, and binding. Meaning to say, in a step method, we will allocate first the cafeteria to maintenance, printing, and binding. And then the maintenance department will be allocated, meaning its own departmental cost plus the allocated cost from the cafeteria. Okay, so that's the total cost or departmental cost now of the maintenance department to be allocated to the productive departments of printing and binding respectively. So to understand better, we have here the illustration on how step method is done. Okay, so if you could notice right here, number of employees. Okay, cafeteria, the basis of allocating the cafeteria cost is on the number of employees. So in the maintenance, although it is part of the service department, and as mentioned earlier, since the personnel or the employees in the maintenance also eat in the cafeteria, so they will be allocated also the cost coming from the cafeteria. So here, the number of employees from the maintenance is 10. For printing, it's 5. Binding is 15. So again, just like what we have done in the direct method, so we just add all of the number of employees. Okay, so 10 plus 5 plus 15, okay, that's 30 in total. So to allocate, for the maintenance department, 10 divided by 30 times 600 is equal to 200,000. And then 5 divided by 30 times 600, so for the printing departments, it will be allocated 100,000. And for binding, that's 15 divided by 30 times 600, it's 300,000. Okay, so that's how we allocate the cost of cafeteria. Now, after allocating cost coming from cafeteria, we can now allocate the maintenance cost to our printing and binding departments respectively. So basically, in this case, we will be using 1,100,000 now, because instead of 900,000, we will allocate the additional allocation of 200,000 coming from cafeteria to the maintenance. Okay, so here the basis is on the number of machines. So just like what we have done in the direct method, we just get the ratio of the number of machines per productive department and multiply it with the departmental cost of maintenance department. So for printing, that's 30 machines divided by 40 machines times 1,100,000, that's equal to 825. And for binding, that's 10 divided by 40 times 1,100,000, so that's 275,000. So this is how we allocate the cost or the service department's cost to the productive departments respectively. But if we will look into the total department or the cost allocated from the direct method, Okay. So it's quite different because again, under the step allocation, we have allocated a portion of the cafeteria department cost to our maintenance cost. Okay, so that's how we do or determine the allocation of the service department cost, okay, to our productive departments respectively.